I'd say one of the most common questions we get is, what is a hopper dropper and how do you set it up? The dry dropper rig is very effective method of fishing all over the place, but we do a lot of it out here. Essentially, you have two different flies in the water, one on the surface for an actual fish to come up and eat a dry fly, and then one covering a water column, below the water column, and depending on the length of tippet you drop off of the dry fly, depends on the column you're fishing. Generally speaking, you really need to worry about the weight of the dry fly, because it is an indicator. If anything happens to the dry fly where it's moving in a way that it wouldn't normally float down the river, it is acting as an indicator, and you do need to set the hook. First piece of the puzzle, one that we know works, and we just go ahead and rig up the dry fly part of the equation. And the key is to make sure that the dropper, which is also a nymph, is not heavier than your dry fly. So if you're fishing with a dropper that will pull down your dry fly, you're kind of eliminating part of the equation. On this fly, we know we've got some foam, we've got a wing, we're going to put some floating on it, and this is going to mimic a golden stone. Then we've got what we're going to start with as a green drake nymph. There's multiple ways in which people attach. So you get some tippet, and before I go on, what I would like to say is, this is 3x to the dry fly, stone fly. This is 4x. So ultimately, when you get caught up on a bank in a tree, having the tippet lighter on the dropper will allow you to lose hopefully just one fly and not two. Some people do still attach the tippet to the eye of the hook. I don't personally do that. I don't think it allows this to swim free enough. But I'll just go right to the bend of the hook. And a lot of people's first reaction are, oh, it's just going to fall off. In this application, that's why I use an improved clinch knot. So you can actually crank it down on the bend of the hook, and it's going to stay there. Yeah, and so once it's on there, I mean, it's not even with a hook set, right? It's not, it might move, but it's not coming off. Yeah, and then once you've attached this, we're going to go ahead and just make sure we have the right length. So, that's about 3 feet. So I'm going to start a little bit less than that. Come back to about 24 inches. Probably, and again, in terms of the mistakes being made with this rig, this isn't the only tippet you're going to tie on for the day, right? There might be a time where you might have to go from 2 feet to 4 feet to even 5 feet, and in which case you're going to actually want to shorten up your leader. Your whole rig, if you put on a 9-foot leader and then you have a 5-foot piece of tippet, right? It's not 14 foot leader is not the easiest thing to cast with some big flies. So generally speaking, start with around 7.5 foot leader if you know you're going to be using a dry dropper rig. But this can change. This is the most important mistake people make. If you get in a riffle, you might be down to here. If you're fishing deep banks, like I said, you might be up 4 or 5 feet, even longer. And then we'll go ahead and put the green drake on. Nymph. And this, by the way, also goes all the way down to mayflies. Like if you want to do this with a parachute Adams and a PMD nymph, you just need to be cognizant of the weight difference. But as you can see, this going down the river, we're just covering 2 different columns. And you can strategically use this application in multiple ways. You can cover different stages of the hatch. You can cover different actual hatches. What are they eating more than not. And you can play around with the two different flies that you're using. So this might be a bank rig, which it will be as we start moving down the bank. And we'll probably have something smaller set up in the same idea, but it will be with smaller mayflies for the riffles. And depending on which stage we catch them coming off, we'll adjust the flies accordingly. But I do like to put some floatant on the foam fly, which I know some people are like, well, it's foam, but I do think it adds a little more longevity to the foam fly. And obviously when you start using this technique with mayflies, it's going to become a lot more important in regards to drying the fly and then reapplying whatever you're using. But there we have it, and we're ready to see if this will get her done. Deadly technique used very widely all around the world.